Yo, I don't know about you, but, damn. It's February. We're not even done with February, and it's like... This month feels like this year so far has been 2 months long, and it feels like it's been like 2 years instead of 2 months.
Yeah, it feels like tomorrow morning will be 2025. That's what it feels like.
I like that you've made a conscious decision to use your headset microphone instead of your good microphone today. And I'm the only one who can currently see your shit-eating grin.
Well...
You don't have to change it, it's fine.
Oh yeah, I
I'm just
forgot to
teasing
switch.
you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Professional.
So professional.
Oh, I mean, I'm the one who didn't bring headphones today because okay, that wasn't my fault though. I have them plugged in. They just didn't charge. That wasn't my fault.
Ah. Yes, it happens. Like you think you have clicked in your earbuds into the case and hope they charge, but they don't. There's
Well,
some
I think that it's actually the case didn't charge. Oh no, it's going now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. I'll get it figured out eventually.
Confused. They're confused. Hello.
Welcome back to DFF Friday. DFF Friday. DFF Friday.
It's going to be fun.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Dumb Fact Friday. Yeah, you might get an echo from me, I'm sorry, it's my headphones. They didn't charge for whatever reason, and so I have no headphones. My bad. I don't know what to tell you. What's going on, Manya?
Oh, yeah. This week's been busy as man. Starting around 6 and finishing around 3 or 4. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy week, yes. But very satisfying, let's just say. I kept busy all the time, so very satisfied.
I'm in that weird in-between spot where I'm, like, mostly done, but not totally finished. Where it's like, okay, all of the major stuff that needs to be done, flights are booked. So for anybody who doesn't know, my flights have been booked for the Kansas hearing, so that's all set up and ready to go. Now it's just a matter of, like, getting her done. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, so thank you so much for joining us if you have joined us today. Oh, brother, we got some dumb stuff for you. Oh, and updates for Puck.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we're a little bit later today is because I needed to go in and get Puck's bandages changed. His bandage is now purple. He's doing well. They did talk to me about his blood work because they noticed there were some problems with his blood work. And their recommendation is just changing his diet a little bit. So, they were kind of confused about the blood work because I guess what was like a little bit low were his kidneys were kind of but his pancreas was like very which is proteins and fats. And so the vet made a educated decision, pulled rank, and looked at the chart and said, "This chart is telling me this dog should be tired and should not be eating and should be underweight and should be very sick. This dog is high energy, eating everything you give him, and is jumping around and is not underweight or anything like that." So they did the blood work. They did the they cut off his toe. His toe is now gone. They cut off the full up to the second knuckle instead of just the first knuckle. They took the whole thing off. Again, executive decision by the vet, which I'm all on board for. Please let your professionals be professionals. Don't get in your vet's grill about their about their decision making and how they can get things done. The odds are they know better than you do. So she made the executive decision to do the surgery anyway, regardless of how some of these numbers might be a little bit and talked to me about it today, and so they just suggested a slight change to his diet, which is a hilarious diet change. So they said lower the amount of like regular kibble that he's getting, which we were starting to do anyway, but don't give him less food. Lower the amount of kibble he's getting, but give him rice and noodles. So he's getting
What?
so he's still getting as much calories and as much food, but less fat and less protein in his diet.
Understood.
So he gets noodles all the time now. Lucky boy.
Damn. Damn lucky boy. That's good. That's good. That Puck is yeah is doing well, and I think so. He's complaining a bit today. I think so. I heard him in the background, but I think so. He's settled down.
He's been like, he was kind of crabby when we brought him back, and he's kind of settling in, and he was kind of about, he was very well behaved at the vet today, so that was nice. He wasn't like being a jerk and pulling and running, like trying to get into everything, because I guess he's kind of getting used to it a little bit, so that's good. um his energy is still high. He's in a pretty good mood. He takes his treats, he eats his medications without any problems. He's got like one more week of meds, and then he's done. He goes back to the vet on
Oh, that's
Tuesday.
fantastic. Okay.
So
That's
all
good.
good
That's
news,
good.
all good news. Shall we get into this?
We ride at dawn for Puck.
We ride at dawn for Buck.
Yeah, let's get into this. Let's yeah. Viewer discretion is advised. You are responsible for your own brains. We do not guarantee your sanity at the end of this.
So Monty had something she sent me that she wanted to discuss and talk about quite insistently.
Yeah.
Eh,
Did I insist?
a little bit. You're pretty excited.
Maybe, yeah.
You're pretty into talking about this. This needs to go to overlay too. There we go. Sorry, I just had to switch something real quick. Okay, so this is Larry Foreman. For anybody who doesn't know who Larry Foreman is, Larry Foreman was one of the lawyers who was covering a lot of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. He was the one who was in the courtroom.
And made that stupid face when Morgan
Yeah.
Germain like threw a burn at Amber's lawyer. So yeah. So this is him. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's talking about Taylor Swift, yeah. And yeah, it was interesting, and the replies were also interesting. So I was like, why not? Let's have a look. So yeah.
I used to be a Swiftie. I am no longer a Swiftie. Here's why. I used to listen to her songs, especially when I first started practicing law. I really liked them. Shake It Off, Blank Space. I kind of started losing interest around the time Look What You Made Me Do came out. To me personally, she was from she went from being a pop sensation to an attention whore. Up until that point, I really liked her. Then she started popping up everywhere, and honestly, good for her. I know that she is a role model for a lot of young women, for better or for worse. She is the epitome of a female icon who has risen to the top, up there with Madonna, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Beyonce, and others. I just lost interest in her music. Maybe I got tired of the constant male bashing.
Okay. Can you give us some examples of male bashing somewhere?
Then it
Because he did give examples of the music that he liked about her, that liked from her. But for some reason he doesn't have any examples for the music that was male bashing. So
it sounds like he's talking about how he liked when she was a little girl looking for male affection from like and was the pining sporty
we were
girl.
both young when I first saw you. I closed my eyes and da 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 da. Something like that.
Copyright
And
strike.
then we
Boom.
Is it that good?
She couldn't find male bashing, that she couldn't find a good man because at first it was cute, then it became annoying, and then it started to become irritating because it seemed that she was clearly the common denominator in all those failed relationships. How would you know that?
Well, that's what happens when you have multiple relationships. You will be one of the common variables in there, or constant variables in there. Like happens with, like he must have had like girlfriends over the period of time, So if those relationships didn't work out, my dear Larry, or whatever his name is, so is it your fault? Or is it your girlfriend's, the ex's fault? What a fucking, you know, logic or illogical
It's an
thought.
immature thing to say. It's yes, you're
Yeah,
the common denominator in all your failed relationships, and yes, that doesn't mean that there are things that you can learn about yourself from your relationships, but it doesn't mean anybody is inherently at fault for anything.
yeah, right? Um, yeah. And what did he say again? Maybe I should lol. Huh?
But look, I get it.
Oh, okay.
I have been in the exact same boat. I have. Why did that do that? Damn
Right?
you!
Oh, oi, come back!
Why didn't that not?
Come back! Come back!
Let's try this again. Smitty, it was your fault. I blame you for this.
Yes, it was Smitty's fault.
There we go. It was not Smitty's fault. It was that was a user
There
error.
we go.
Hi T. Hi Rose. Hi Athens. Hi Smitty. Hi April. Hi Tsar. Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hi
Um,
Athens. Hi Rose. Hi Honest Red. How you guys doing?
Wasn't that like a Disney princess? The hi, hello, hi, hello, hello, hi.
That was the idea. And then immediately switching to the demon voice. Oh, the banshee.
But look, I get it. I've been in the exact same boat. I have had so many failed dates and relationships, it will make your head spin. The difference between me and Taylor is that I don't write songs about every failed relationship I've ever had. Maybe I should, lol.
Maybe you should and earn money off it. Why not? Why not?
I
Anyway,
don't
that's
get
why I'm
it.
no longer a Swiftie.
I don't get it. What's this post about? I don't understand. Why did you post this?
He's not happy that Taylor Swift doesn't now act like, that, like you said, that girly girl, that's always looking for male attention and affection. She's now a woman and acts like so in her videos, who are like, I don't give a fucking damn. And
I
he's
mean, if
mad
it
because
sounds like this sounds
because
like he basically is writing this just to use her name to get people to pay attention to him.
I think so. I think so. That plus it sounds like that every time Taylor Swift made a song where she was um looking for a male's affection, he thought it was him. And now, because now it's male bashing, he thinks she is bashing him. And he's taking it personally.
So he's telling on himself.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I just
Passing the
don't get
cat
it.
from the
Like,
light
what
chat.
prompted it? What prompted this post? I don't understand. I don't
I
understand.
think so. This was I think so. The Super Bowl, and I think so. Taylor Swift's boyfriend is on the winning team of the Super Bowl. So that's where the talks were coming on that she's in a good relationship. So what he's doing now is bringing up her past failed relationships and saying that she's not a good creator because of her past failed relationships.
But that okay.
For
So
him,
hear me out. Hear me out. She's now in a successful relationship, or what appears to be a successful relationship, because why would we know anything about their personal relationship, regardless, like,
right?
besides what they publicly decide to display for us? And because she is therefore not as good of an artist for being in a good relationship now, because she was able to take the emotions that she felt as an artist and utilize them in a creative fashion, like, an artist.
Oh yeah, what about when Kanye West like called her, names and shit in his music? Was that okay with you, Larry? You know, it's funny that male singers and rappers and everyone, they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do, are allowed to make songs whatever the fuck they want to make songs about. They're never questioned and they're never considered
Chris Brown
a
still
common
has a
denominator.
career. Just the fact
Yeah.
that Chris Brown still has a career is insane.
Yep.
Okay, I don't
So yeah,
I'm not. I
Larry.
was never that big of a fan of Taylor Swift. The type of songs that she was writing came out a little bit after my time, where I would have been the target audience. So they're not quite my cup of tea. I've found that I've enjoyed her music as I've gotten older. Her newer stuff I tend to enjoy a little bit more when it pops up. I don't tend to go searching for it though.
Yes.
But I don't know what the fuck this has to do with anything at all ever. Uh, but I do know that there are some issues with Taylor Swift, particularly around her carbon footprint, where she uses her fucking personal private jet a shitload, and that's kind of problematic. But I mean,
I guess we could look into that.
I don't say that to like shit on her. I mean, if you've got a private jet, use it. But I can understand why like to me that's a legitimate criticism to say that hey, listen,
I would
carbon is a problem, global warming is a problem, and so you are like an icon and you are doing this thing. Although the biggest issue is corporations, Taylor Swift being like, you know what? Global warming is a problem. I'm going to limit my jet use to like necessary, or I'm going to get rid of my jet entirely, would be a big pressure. Like that would mean a lot to a lot of people, right? Again, I'm not shitting on her. I get it. It's just I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah. Adding on to that thought though, yes, people are talking about carbon footprints now and the private jets that do that. So, finally, it wouldn't come up when evangelical, what do they call them? Preachers would use
I'm talking about Kenneth
the
Copeland.
jets. And then the preachers
Yeah.
who go around the country or go into other countries also and use their private jets and stuff. Surprisingly, it never came up then, but it came up now.
Yeah, I think the reason people are picking on Taylor Swift a little bit more is one, because she's a woman, two, she's a woman in power, and three, she does have her usage is still like very high.
It's possible that her usage is highest of everyone.
What about all these people who have deals with Nike?
Yeah. Just asking the questions. Yeah, so it's interesting, yeah. So I think so Larry, one, is projecting and telling on himself, and two, he's just using Taylor Swift's name to generate controversy, and because there are some good replies, and from other YouTubers, calling him out on it, and so he got the interaction that he wanted if that was his idea of this tweet. So
This person makes a good point. I don't know how much about it is political, but just say that because every singer, man or woman, sings about their personal lives and relationships, sounds like your issue with her conveniently started around the time she started speaking out politically.
can you see that? Oh, okay. So you didn't say the first line. My bad.
What?
I hate women who have different political views. I think
Yeah.
so. I missed that.
I'm not
altogether.
sure that's well. They're like paraphrasing that. Like, what he means.
Yeah.
Call any woman a sentence which includes the word whore and it is disgusting. Shame on you. I mean, fine. Like, I'm not gonna be that picky about it, but it was odd that he called her an attention whore. Like, she's a pop star. Her entire career is based on people paying attention to her.
So
same with like Lady Gaga. Same with like Maroon 5. So any performer.
Eminem. Looks like a job for me. I don't remember the words.
Of course, the singer-songwriter writes about their fucking experience. Experience is what informs your art.
Yeah, why not?
It's not even a why not. It's that's what you should be doing. They're inherent to each other.
Yeah, art is related to your emotions.
So this one's kind of interesting. I'm from another era, 1970s, so I find her music too repetitive and generic. On the other hand, I do applaud her for how she treats her employees. I have read that she goes above and beyond with regard to generosity. I highly respect that. I think we have been oversaturated with Miss Swift, however. I hardly think that she's to blame. It's our society these days. She's just riding the wave of opportunity until people move on to the next big thing. I think one of the reasons why the magic of the Beatles lasted for an eternity is because there was an element of mystery attached to them and no social media. For Taylor's sake, someone should advise her not to be in the public eye as much. She should create her own aura of mystery like Michael Jackson. People are fickle.
No.
They love you one day and hate you the next. If she steps back for a while, I think her road to fame will be a longer one.
Well, that's a good way to put it. They weren't being disrespectful in any way. They didn't use the word attention whore even once, right? And they respectfully said that they find her music generic and repetitive, which is fine, you know.
I
This
usually
is so
find when
well
people are using language like attention whore, they're trying to be insulting on purpose. So calling out that it's
Oh, yeah.
offensive is kind of redundant because, like, yes, that's the point. It's you don't want to get distracted by that. So, like, for
Yeah.
example, when
And-
I told Renelle that she had Steve's dick in her ass, I was being offensive,
Oh yeah,
and I was being offensive on
on
purpose.
purpose.
To
And
make-
you were
to
using
make
a
the
metaphor,
point. Right, exactly. So her getting offended
and
by that is
wasn't
like
the point.
good. You should be offended by that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So my thing is that one, he said attention whore, and then he was like, I mean no disrespect. And I'm like, you meant the disrespect.
Yeah, just own
You
it.
meant it,
Yeah.
Larry. Just own it, Larry. Just don't pretend that you didn't. Is it? Don't insult your audience's and your viewers' intelligence. Let's just say.
I
Don't do
mean,
that.
no offense to this woman. I wouldn't take PR advice from a random on Twitter.
Yeah, of course.
Particularly, you can't utilize things that worked in the 70s and think that they're going to work now. We just don't live in that world anymore, so it's not going to be applicable. I can
different,
appreciate
yes.
the thought process. I don't think that she's inherently wrong.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a degree there that's not gonna fly. And Taylor Swift, as far as I know, doesn't actually post very much about her personal life. She's not like on Instagram lives. She's not posting all the time in pictures and stories, from my understanding. Like, she does some, but not like
Mm.
It's more like the TMZ, and that I absolutely agree with this woman on. Our society, particularly Western and American society, is very, very celebrity obsessed. Celebrity obsessed. It's like for no reason. No
Yeah.
reason. You ought. I would argue that you ought not to be too interested in the personal lives of the people you watch and consume, right?
Yeah.
But you know, unless buying like real life issues that are being brought to the forefront and need to be dealt with one way or another. But like, people shouldn't care what I ate for dinner yesterday, right? Like,
Yeah.
not really.
And also, like, stop putting the burden, of like taking the social responsibility of social issues on these artists, because yeah, they're just also just a human being, right? And they're just trying to
Yeah.
do a job. Simple as that.
That's a grueling job like any other as well.
Hmm.
This is an interesting take.
Yeah.
So shall we move
There
on?
was another one, I think so.
We got one more? Okay.
There was not the reply here. There was another one. Wasn't there Andy Signal in there somewhere? No? Or have I missed it? No, not here. To Larry's original tweet, I think. There should be. Or was it on another one? Oh, here we go.
I will
This is
debate
one of the
this
guys
with
who-
you any day. Debate? Debate about what? Whether or not Taylor Swift is an attention whore? Like, what? This guy is literally just putting out his opinion. It's to me personally. Like, this is then she started popping up everywhere. She's the epitome of an icon. Like, this is male Are you gonna debate that her content is male bashing? Because this is like the only thing that's a statement of like a fact that is
Only
not.
thing that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and trying to like, so he's trying to establish a point. Okay, I said that her music is male bashing. You know why? Because she's had so many breakups.
I stand by this.
that's
I will
it.
say this again, and I'll say this again, and I'll say this again. Women have been incredibly nice and charitable to men in Western society since women's suffrage. incredibly patient, incredibly kind.
Yep.
There are individuals who have been more extreme, but women on a whole have generally catered to getting men slowly used to this idea and inching forward and bringing men into the fold rather than just beating the shit out of them and overthrowing them, which is definitely not off the table.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just saying that there are plenty of societies that have had minorities being treated like shit, and a large number of minorities, and so much so that those minorities actually outnumber the majority when you combine them together. And those minorities have risen up and absolutely destroyed and overthrew. And old white men are lucky that black people, Latino people, and women of all those varieties are trying to integrate rather than trying to overthrow and destroy. Women have been incredibly patient and incredibly nice, and they do not have to be. So much so that a woman speaking up or existing is treated like this.
Right? It's like she's just doing her job, bruh.
Why is this woman who bashes men so popular? I don't understand.
Oh my god. The same way the guys who bash women and their, what they produce are popular, I guess. The thing is that he didn't give me examples of like male bashing, like where she's bashed the whole mankind, if I might dare say. She might have talked about her ex or her multiple exes, but that doesn't mean she's male bashing. She's just talking about her or expressing about her previous partners. That's it. Unless you're taking it personally for some reason.
Then you're just telling on yourself. Alright, I will debate you on this any day. Reputation isn't really about men. It's about, so he's bringing up a specific song. It isn't really about men. It was about standing up to all the people lying on her. Kim Kardashian and Kanye recording her phone calls, people calling her overexposed, a slut, etc. Maybe an attention whore. Of course, to each their own, but for me, it's a badass album. It often plays like one big fuck you to all of her ex-friends trying to paint her a snake. She embraced it, and it was all in a new style. The tour kicked ass, too. Her lyrics on that album felt less about complaining about dudes and more mature and confident. As a dude, I can relate to her more than ever on that album. Quote, this ain't for the best. My reputation's never been the worst. You must be like me for me. We can't make any promises now, can we, babe? But you can make me a drink. Fucking solid lyric. I don't give a shit about her politics. She's a damn talented songwriter and musician, currently overexposed, yes, but good for her. Get that bag. Respect the hustle, I guess. Fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that she has done very, very well for herself, and I can respect that. And she's had to stand up for herself very, very, very hard. And yes. I can appreciate what she's done for, like, the industry, right? Particularly. Yes. So I think that there's respect there, whether you like her music or not.
Yeah, particularly the artists, like small artists, where the recording labels they just take over all their work and they don't release it, or they use it to control the artist. You know what I mean? That's what was happening with Taylor Swift. Her initial, I think so, a catalog of songs was just sitting in dust because I don't know why. And she was like, why don't you release that? Let me release it. And then I think she took them to court and won. And then she decided, okay, I'm just gonna record them all over again because she knows what she did, right? So they couldn't control her, and it was badass. That was badass for her to say, I'm gonna do it, do what you want to do, come at me. Yeah.
There we go, I fixed it. So this is Brett. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy. Have you seen this guy around?
Not me. No, I haven't.
No? Okay, this guy, I'm trying to think about how this is... How do I explain who this is? I don't know. I'm just gonna let him talk. We'll just let him talk, and we'll see.
After I looked at what Luc Montagnier had said, and I read. After I looked at what Luc Montagnier had said, and I read Bobby Kennedy's book on Fauci, was that actually the argument against HIV being causal was a lot higher quality than I had understood.
HIV being causal.
Causal. Nani the fuck?
That it being a real virus, a fellow traveler of a disease that was chemically triggered, that is at least a highly plausible hypothesis. And with Anthony Fauci playing his role, that was inconvenient for what he was trying to accomplish.
It's also ignoring a very important factor.
What was he trying to accomplish?
Good question. Next question.
Huh? Nani?
Which is party drugs.
That is the competing hypothesis. And for those who think that this is a preposterous allegation, you should look at this evidence. The evidence is surprisingly compelling. And,
Where?
if your mind resists that, realize that Luc Montagnier, who got a Nobel Prize for the discovery of HIV, later in life became convinced that the thing.
I don't know why that just stopped.
I have no. Maybe the clip ended?
I'm
It does
gonna
that sometimes.
I'm gonna blame Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Twitter. It does that. And it's so irritating. So irritating. Oh wow. Seriously?
Whatever, it'll figure itself out in the meantime. So here's the thing. It is what year is it? 2024? It is 2024,
Yep.
and we've got the Joe Rogan podcast, which is one of the biggest podcasts. One of the biggest podcasts on the platform, and has been for a while, being like, yeah, but AIDS though. Are you kidding me?
Do you want to be History Channel, Joe? Come on.
We talk about
Or is
every
it that you
time,
don't have-
every time with Joe Rogan we talk about this, how sometimes he's very good and sometimes he's very bad, and he seems to be learning and then seems to fail again. And it's, every time he has a guest on, it does not give them the pushback that he needs to give them.
Or he's just trolling. He's just sitting and he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a troll this time and let's run with it. And then he gets not only his audience is interested, he gets a lot of detractors also, like people who give pushback to him also interested. So he gets a spike in views and blah, 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 blah. It's possible that he does that for that reason. Because HIV now in 2024, okay. And yeah, it's kind of like disappointing because I'm like, either he doesn't have anything more that he has to go for, like you always say, the low hanging, or actually the rotten fruit on the ground, or he's trolling to get views and shit, like get a spike or jump or something like that, or get people interested in his podcast. Like, why would you call someone like that?
It's about playing the controversy,
Yeah.
right? You bring on a guest with a controversial idea, and then you let them say the controversial thing to get people interested. The problem isn't that he's having somebody on as a guest. The problem is Joe Rogan sucks at handling those guests, because he just allows and enables and nods along with misinformation. Does he care, T. Marie? Good question. I doubt it. I don't think he cares. I think he cares that it's good for him. I think that's about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, because the first question I asked him, what, where. He named a book. He could have brought that book with him, so we could see what exactly he was talking about. He's talking about the guy who got the Nobel Prize. But if we can fucking look at the rest of the clip, Twitter, fucking get your act together, so we would know what the fuck he was talking about, that person.
Well, he's saying that so Brett is saying that. So Brett is an author, former author, And is used to let me double check here. Let me just read his Wikipedia just to. I feel like I have a hard time explaining who this man is, so I'm gonna let Wikipedia do it for me. The first paragraph of Wikipedia is Brett Winstein, an American podcaster, author, and former professor of evolutionary biology. He served on the faculty at Evergreen State College from 2002 to 2017 when he resigned in the aftermath of a series of campus protests about racial equity at Evergreen, which brought Winstein to national attention. Along with his brother Eric Winstein, he's considered part of the intellectual dark web. Winstein has been criticized for making false statements about COVID-19 treatments and vaccines. As an evolutionary biologist, he should know better. He should have a pretty solid understanding about germ theory. At least enough that he might not be an expert, but he should have, like, the basics down.
So, yes,
He's trying to say that HIV doesn't cause AIDS. Like, they're not correlated.
Or he's saying that it was just like COVID, it had a, not like COVID, but maybe it has an origin in human experimentation somewhere.
Or it has there's some kind of conspiracy around it, back with, like, bringing up Fauci again, because, oh my god, Fauci,
out of control and something like that. Yeah. Which is okay. Like, you can investigate such claims or such hypotheses, but you need to really, really start backing that shit up if you really want people to listen to you. Because, just saying something like that, doesn't make. You're just creating problems. That's all.
I feel like it's dismissing the history of, like, what the AIDS epidemic was and what it went through and how much work and how many people died. Because it's like, we're back to the denialism stuff, and when you get into the denialism stuff and you deny treatments or spread misinformation about treatments that can save your life or can help you live a better, like, have a higher quality of life for a longer period of time, you're doing everyone a disservice. And not just Brett, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is doing people a disservice by bringing on anti-vax bullshit. And I understand and believe that people have their shticks about vaccines. And in some cases, I agree. I think that if you're somebody, like, so let's take Covfefe, for example, right? If you're somebody who decides you don't want to get this vaccine, that's fine. That's your choice. You're allowed to make that choice. But you need to stay home. You need to make, because now you're making a decision, and you're allowed to make your decision, and your decision goes along the lines of this is what you then need to do to make sure that you are not putting yourself or other people at risk. So you need to do both in that regard, right? You're like, listen, I can't do this, I don't want this, I don't want this part in my body, so I'm not going to participate. But when you decide to not participate, you need to actually not participate, not be running around like an asshole coughing on people's oranges at the fucking grocery store, dude. Like, come on.
Oh god. No, please don't do that. And also, like, it's the same thing, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't do that. You don't want to get the vaccine, fine, like Jess said, but you gotta stay home, man. It's not, other people matter. Yeah.
It's a matter of, like, at the end of the day, even if you don't, like, believe whatever you personally want to believe, the numbers are there. So regardless of whether you believe it was intentionally done, whether you believe it is related to the government, whether you believe there's a conspiracy around it, regardless, the numbers are there. So you need to behave and act accordingly with those numbers, right? So it's the same thing that we talked about, that I talked about with Maddie, right? It's like, whether or not you believe global warming is real or not, the fires are going to destroy your house. And the fires are there, and they're getting bigger, and they're going to be an issue. So you need to vote for a politician, not about what they believe. You need to vote up for a politician that's going to protect you from that issue, right?
Exactly.
So you need to take the steps to protect yourself and the people around you, because you're a decent human being who is concerned for your own safety. So if you're a decent human being who's concerned for your own safety, and you don't want to take the vaccine because you're concerned for your own safety, stay the fuck home, because if you're not at home, you're putting your own safety and other safety at risk. Anyway, that's all I have for this guy. I don't want to give this kind of stuff too much attention, to be honest.
Yeah. Have you got anything else? Any more fuckery?
Yeah, of course I do. You want to get mad? Do you guys want to get mad?
Yeah, let's go.
You
Let's
wanna get
go.
angry?
Let's go.
You want to get angry?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get angry.
Let's get angry. Let's get crazy. Let's get nuts.
Oh. Hello, my lady. Oh.
Madam. Am I the asshole for going on a hiking trip with my pregnant wife?
Just with that title. Yes. Unless she suggested it. Still also, yes. A little bit. Because you should know better. Just saying.
Oh, we haven't
Just
even
saying.
started yet. This is gonna get worse.
Right?
You're gonna think that we're done. You're gonna think that this is like, oh, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm done now, and it's gonna get worse. I'm preparing you.
No! Don't!
I'm warning you now.
Well, I did say that everyone's responsible for their own brains, right? So here we are. Okay.
Okay. For over the weekends, my wife and I went on hiking trips with some of my friends. We've always been active people, but it kind of seems like my wife, who's 6 months pregnant, has sort of turned into a couch potato in recent weeks. It's caused her to gain a bit of weight and become moody, so I figured some exercise would be good for her and me.
God help me, please. Jeebus, please help me and my fucking anger. I'm gonna fucking drop my wrath on this fucking person here. Ah, God.
That was just the first paragraph.
Am I really sounding that bad?
Oh, I'm watching the chat too. This is just the first paragraph.
No, your mom's saying I sound like I'm in a tin can. Should I really change? Maybe I should really change.
You sound like you're a radio star.
Really? God damn it. Maybe I should change. Let me change. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Yeah. Sorry,
Alright, good
guys.
luck.
Give me a sec. I'm still here.
Well, I thought I picked a pretty easy hike. It's a trail that's close to our house and not that long, about 3 miles out and back. So this is either 3 miles in total, or 3 miles out and 3 miles back. 3 miles regardless, for a 6-month pregnant woman. But it can be steep in places. She's done it before, so it couldn't have been too much of a surprise. Well, we were about 1/3 of the way done when my wife started huffing and puffing. My friends slowed down to accommodate her, so I decided to slow down too.
Okay, that sounds good.
No, it doesn't. He decided to slow down after his friends slowed down. He didn't decide to slow down for his wife.
No. I mean his friends slow down, so that's good. That's what I meant. They were being kind to her, but they shouldn't have allowed her to get on that.
Yeah, the friends are being decent, I guess. Yeah, his friends care more about his wife than he does. Yeah. After a half a mile of huffing and puffing, she got really pale and was hunched over on one side of the trail. I was sort of shocked to see her in this state. She had let herself go recently, but I didn't think she would lose her fitness this quickly. We can't hear you, Manya. It's okay, you'll figure it out. Yes. Yes. She is not losing fitness that quickly. She's fucking 6 months pregnant, you clown.
She's got another human being in there. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I had to refresh.
Yeah, I hope
she
this
has
is
another
fake
human
too.
being in her. Fuck. Hopefully, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not real. Please don't be real. Please.
However, a few minutes later, she actually started to throw up, and it was at this point that we all decided to head back. I'm fully aware that she is going to deliver a baby in 3 months, but I can't help but think that she wouldn't have embarrassed me in front of my friends if she had kept up her exercise routine.
He does this guy watch those like YouTubers who like pretend that while their spouse is pregnant that they are doing all those like fucking tasks that they used to do when they were pregnant, like running and all that shit? Yeah, they're very like, it's rare when people are able to do that, and sometimes I believe that's not real because, and it's like it's being created like for the viewers, that kind of thing. But still, you not knowing like what is good and bad for your wife while she's pregnant is raising a lot of red flags. And over here, all I can read is me. That's all I can hear. I maybe he's jealous that because his wife is pregnant and she might be getting all the attention. So he's trying to like be like, well, whoa, me. Probably, maybe. But like this dude, god, I'm not going to blame if his wife like starts having like second thoughts. um that's what I say, like. And sounds like they have been living together, like, but I don't know what their history was, how long they were like in a relationship before they got married. But yeah, dude, you need to work on yourself and your attitude there, just saying.
Hey, Rose, stop reading ahead. We both ate the same food at breakfast, and I never got sick, so that couldn't be it either. Oh yes, pregnant women having sensitive stomachs. Unheard of.
Oh yeah, like hormones like going up and down, blood pressure being like, not stable. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Feet swollen. Feet swollen.
We got back to the parking lot and apologized for my wife's behavior to my friends. I thought that I was out of earshot, but apparently my wife heard the whole thing.
Boy, which planet are you from? Seriously. I refuse to believe that someone like this person exists. Nah. This is fake. I really?
What behavior?
This is so passive aggressive.
What behavior, though?
Like
her
that
getting
she
physically
naturally
ill?
got sick?
Yep, that's not a behavior, though. That's not
She cannot control it, you fucking moron. She can't control it.
Smitty in the chat said that bitch was eavesdropping.
Yeah, that might be, that's what he's thinking. But this is like so passive aggressive, isn't it? Like, it sounds like a person who's regretting something about their partner or something else, and they're taking it out on their partner. Do you know that guy, like Steve Watts? What was his name? The guy who just like killed his whole family. That's what he sounds like. Girl, run, fucking run. It's like men.
She can't even hike,
like
let
people...
alone run. She's 6 months pregnant.
Oh god, look, yeah, get a Uber. Um, so my thing is that some partners really, really, when their significant others go through some tough times or something that is out of the ordinary, they kind of become really, really selfish instead of being, I will support you throughout this whole thing for some reason. And why I'm using such neutral terms is because women tend to do that too. Women have been known to like
It's an everybody problem, not a single gender problem.
It's an everybody problem, and I don't understand that. I don't get it. Like, how can you be so cruel? How I get it, like maybe you need a breather once in a while, or you need to sit down and think about shit sometimes, and you don't want to be alone. I get that, but to like be like this, to like not even try and understand what your wife is going through.
The only way a man like this, the only way a man like this learns is if he is, it's like, okay, we're gonna do that. An outside person comes in and says, okay, we're gonna do this hike again. Here's all the weight you need to carry. Poof! Also, I need you to carry that weight around for a week before we go on the hike.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like we have seen YouTubers like who have like the Try Guys or something like that, who have like tried the whole pregnancy thing, and they're like, what the fuck?
I've seen people do the one where they like strap the weight and something to a guy just to, and then they go through a challenge. They do challenges. So it's like the first challenge, pick this up. Like then the pregnant wife throws a pen onto the ground, and it's like you got to pick the
And
pen
they'll
up,
watch
and
them
he's
like,
just immediately fails. It's just like how.
And women have been known to wear heels while being like 7-8 months pregnant.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, and these motherfuckers are still not satisfied. Like, come on. And it's not just women who do this. Like, oh, you have let yourself go and all that shit. It's other women too who do that. Mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, friends who are like kind of jealous that you're pregnant now and might have a family of your own. Yeah, everyone does that. And for some, and it's like so unfair on the person who's
Just
going
not
through
as
all
an
this.
option. Make sure to put the cramp simulator. I love the cramp simulator. That thing's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yes,
Uh,
I love it.
When I got back to the car, she went nuts. She told me that I was an idiot for thinking she could keep up at our normal pace and that I was a grade A asshole for insinuating my wife had thrown up on purpose. I listened to her rant at me for before politely asking if she thought she would have felt sick if she hadn't been a couch potato recently, but she refused to engage with me at all. How did you say that politely? I'm curious.
Yeah. And what do you mean by couch potato? She's got a whole another human being inside her, you dense motherfucker.
I wanted it to dawn on her that she was at least partially to blame for this, but she refused to take any responsibility. The only responsibility
Jesus,
she has
take
was agreeing to go on the hike, and it sounds like she expected you to take it at a slower pace for her, even if she was willing initially, because this sounds like the type of guy who would have pressured her into going on a hike.
Yeah, I think so. He pressured her into going, and probably she
It's
thought
speculation on my
that
part, but
if she started like getting tired of stuff, he might empathize more with her. But he just went in the opposite direction. Girl, run. Girl, run. Take your kid and run.
he only slowed down when his friends did.
Yeah, that too. No, that's what I'm saying. That his wife thought maybe if she went on the hike and he saw that she was struggling, he might like stop and like, okay, this was a bad idea. But he just ran in opposite direction, and he, like you said, he only slowed down when it was looking like he's bad to his friends, that he was not looking like a good husband to his friends. That's when his image was, this was all about his image, apologizing to his friends and all that bullshit couch
Well, even
potato and
before
all
that,
this.
it's about image, right? She's being a couch potato. She's not as fit. She's not doing as much. She's this. She's that. And none of the things she's doing impose on him at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
The couch potato thing, that really irks me, seriously. Like, is it like that there are some women when they're pregnant, they're so tiny and small that their belly doesn't look like that they're pregnant? You know what I mean? There's some women like that. Is it because of that suddenly, like, and then what happens is in the later stage of the pregnancy they suddenly, grow big? Is that what he means that happened or something like that? Or does he think she suddenly got obese or something? Because if she got obese, that's not the way to deal with it. That's not the way at all to deal with it. To take her on a hike and like or nearly kill her. She
And
could have
not just
died.
her, the child.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
He's putting both of their health at serious risk.
But oh woe me. What will my friends think that my wife is with a child and looks different than she used to? Why can't she wear her hot dress anymore?
This happened on Saturday, and even today has been really tense. It's as if she's holding a grudge against me.
Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why. Why?
I don't think this is
I can't
holding
think
a
of any
grudge.
reason.
I think this is an unresolved issue that you're refusing to engage in appropriately.
Or acknowledge. Yeah.
I don't know
I
how
think-
to get her to stop. She's really making me sad with this horrible treatment. Am I the asshole?
Stop what? Stop what? Not. Oh, is she not making you dinner? Is that what it is?
It doesn't say. It
I'm
just says Saturday. Even today has been
I'm
really
just
tense.
joking.
Even today has been really tense. It's as if she's holding her. You mean she's not going out of her way to cater to you? Because I bet that's what's happening. I bet she's just like,
Yep.
fine, I'm just gonna do what's best for me right now, and isn't
Yeah.
like going out of her way to not to do or do extra things.
Mm-hmm. Or she's just
Probably
decided
being
like I'm
short
not
with
gonna do
him.
anything.
She's probably not
She's like,
engaging in
I'm not.
conversation with him and stuff.
The thing is that I don't believe this is real. I don't believe this is real. I don't. I
Everybody's like,
refuse to
there's no
believe.
way this can't be real.
It's like rarest of the rare cases because people like this fucking moron, they don't come on internet to look for
That's the thing.
validation.
That's the thing that makes me think that it's not real. It's
They
the,
don't.
it's
They will
this
never ever
idea
let
that
go
he's
like
looking
this.
for the internet's
Yeah,
input.
nah.
I do
If
believe
they're
stuff like
already
this
doing
happens.
this,
I believe stuff like this
they
happens.
think that they're a prize. That's what's going on. So
Yeah,
yeah. Or
yeah.
it is possible his wife is putting this out, pretending to be him, and putting everything that she saw from her perspective that happened. It's possible. Or one of his friends did, or something, something, something like that. Individual will not come out and do it themselves. Just saying.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. I have one more thing for us today, if you guys are interested.
Yay.
April mentioned it a little bit, and so, because April was like, well,
Okay.
if you want me to be mad.
Oh, this poor boy. This poor guy. Hey, welcome back.
Welcome to the episode. Sexual boredom is running rampant with Jordan Peterson, hosted by Ben Shapiro.
Jordan Peterson? Sexual boredom with Jordan Peterson? Can I scream? Can I scream? God, okay.
Scream
God,
longer,
God,
Manya.
God, please. Protect me. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Jordan Peterson. Oh my fucking god.
The amount of sexual boredom in the society is extraordinary. So you have
Yeah,
more
right on.
sexual choice and variety available than literally
Wasn't he recently complaining about a song called Wet Ass Pussy?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now it's dry ass pussy. Okay, whatever.
any time in human history, given free license by the state because there are no intermediate social institutions in which sort of informal mechanisms of disapproval could make themselves felt. And one of the things it turns out psychologically that human beings are turned on by is taboo. And so when you get rid of literally every taboo, then people tend to get bored. And then the question is,
Yeah, well, there's no novelty.
right, exactly. Not novelty.
They're mad about sexual liberation because then it's not like you lose the breaking the rules taboo that's really exciting.
Oh, you mean you can't control the people anymore? Oh, okay, understood. Yeah. You know, you can't
Or like
control
the
women.
sex isn't
yeah,
as
you know.
fun because you're not breaking any rules. I
Yeah,
don't
because-
like it that black people are free people to do things. It means that having sex with them feels less like I'm breaking rules. This is the worst.
The novelty. I had so much. I was thinking that Jordan Peterson is maybe on the right track. He's recovering and shit, but here we are again. I think so. The damage is
What
permanent.
made you
Whatever the
think
fuck his
that?
daughters fed him. And yeah,
goes
oh,
away,
God.
and particularly men are driven by sexual novelty. It's something that is very deeply ingrained. And the power of what marriage was supposed to
Men, can I get a fact check on that? Can I get a citation? You guys, can you let me know? Do we citation needed that one? Is that
Citation needed.
citation needed, please? Guys in the chat. Is that what drives you?
Alex. God. Oh God.
to be is it takes this short-term hedonic desire, and it's said, because female virtue still existed,
Shut
that
up.
in order for you to obtain this, you're going to have to sublimate that desire for the building of something greater. I mean, the part of Freud that everybody ignores is the part where Freud actually is in favor of sublimation.
Yeah,
right?
right.
It's only later psychologists and
This
philosophers
sounds like
who suggest
such
that
a,
sublimation needs to
discussion about,
be
like, how to make
destroyed and
someone,
done
like,
away with in order to free
Get a
all
room,
forms
you
of human
Get a room.
artistic and material expression. But Freud never says that. Freud says you actually have to sublimate a lot of those short-term hedonic desires to something higher. But again, that gets back to kind of the fundamental premise that you were speaking to, which is there is this narrative of accepted values that we all used to live inside of. And when you destroy that narrative by saying for some reason that it's not true because it's not coming out of your own head, well, once that happens, we don't hold the common narrative. There are no common narratives. And
No,
Yeah,
there
there
are
are no
still
common narratives.
There are still common narratives, but they're decided societally. An individual
Yeah.
doesn't get to make that decision. It's decided by
And
society,
they
and society changes and evolves. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it why these morons don't get it. The only constant is change on this planet. Nothing else. That's it. If you think that you can keep different, like, I don't want to say it this way, but different races separate, like not intermingling and not marrying and all this stuff, that's not gonna last long, buddy. It's not gonna.
So
It's
there's a
not gonna
problem here,
last.
right? And the problem here is that Ben Shapiro is presenting like the nuclear family as if it's like a historical common thing that humans have done throughout their history, and that's just not true.
Sir, marriage was a contract. It was contract to pass on property. That's what it used to be. That's what it started
Being
as.
straight in society wasn't even always the standard acceptable thing to be. There are plenty of societies throughout history that were completely accepting of LGBT sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
and if there are no common narratives and everything is then acceptable, then what exactly is the taboo? What
That's what we sit down and
children.
talk about.
Having sex with children. Consent. Consent is the taboo. That is a consistent taboo. It will remain a consistent taboo. There's not no taboos. The taboo is built around harming people. The harming people, not doing harm to people,
And
is
to
the
say-
taboo.
And to say that keeping people sexually frustrated is not harming them is kind of like, yeah, dude. Come on.
Sexual repression is harmful to people, yes.
Yes. I'm just gonna say, but yeah, it's harmful, and for them to think it's not because you are married and you are in a satisfied, relationship, you think that everybody's like that by default. That's not how it works. Like, do you see Jordan Peterson, your buddy, when he speaks about his wife, his ex, maybe wife, if I'm not wrong? Have you heard? Dude, come on. And yeah, nuclear family didn't come about until the 1920s. Yeah, there used to be like big families before that, and the marriage was for contract, or passing down.
And it's not
property.
even like, and it's specifically in America. And look at how is America doing right now?
Oh god. Not really that well. And if this continues, I think so. With like the abortion laws being overturned, the Roe v. Wade and stuff, and if these motherfuckers think that women are not going to be like, you assholes, and not gonna take to the streets, or are not going to make their voices heard via the the political system or the democratic system, they are wrong. Like last time there was like riots and shit. This time women can vote and have access to knowledge and technology. What the fuck do you think they are going to do? Huh? Food for thought.
They're trying to present this as if like this is a standard, this is around the world, this is acceptable, blah blah blah, and they're trying to paint it as if you change any of the things that are acceptable, it's inherently wrong for the society or bad for the society. And it's like, no, it's not. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because it's like, oh, then we don't have any taboos anymore. You know, you could still, like, it's you're not supposed to have sex in the park. You're not supposed to. So if you want to get, like, a rush or a high, go have sex in a public place where you're not supposed to. Like, that's still a thing you could do.
Try
You don't
that.
even, you can even do it in your backyard, and it'll probably still feel kind of risque because you're exposed. Right? There's also, like, you know, just any BDSM stuff, and, you know, what are you mad that dildos are gonna get bigger because once you get used to one size dildo, you can get a little bit larger? Ben, is that your concern?
I think so. That's what he's
The little,
worried about because,
the
you know.
medium-sized dildo just doesn't do it enough for me anymore. I need to get a bigger one.
Okay, by the way, it's a myth that that's another myth. Yeah, but it's like using it as a point to as a something to make a point. Yeah, this is.
Yes, I was being
I think
sarcastic.
so. Yeah, Katrina said from the live chat, "You're sure he's actually satisfied?" I think so. Now, when I think about it again, actually, they're having this talk maybe because they're not. Maybe because they're not.
How's your
People thought-
buddy Steven Crowder's relationship going, guys?
Where does the sublimation take place? There is no sublimation, and there is no future orientation.
Yes,
Because what
there is.
sublimation really is orientation of short-term in favor of long-term.
In Gaza, where the echoes of conflict linger, hope
Appropriate.
Mm.
I don't think I don't. Do we really want to use Ben Shapiro as our example for a healthy, positive relationship after the man got trolled so hard online about how dry his doctor wife told him it's natural for women to be dry during sex, and then he got trolled so hard that he had to he showed the birth certificate and DNA test for his kid because nobody thought it was his.
Oh boy. This guy gets trolled. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he has learned from that, hopefully, and doesn't get trolled anymore.
Well, and in favor of other people, right? So it's long-term plus the social. Yeah, well, so
Social, okay.
you can do that. You can think about this technically as well. If there's no uniting narrative, here's the necessary consequences. First of all, there's no higher order superordinate aim. And that means motivation itself on the positive side takes a hit because we experience positive motivation and the impetus to move forward. So that would be curiosity, hope, inspiration, enthusiasm, even
Okay.
aesthetic interest. We
To say that taboos kind of, help you with inspiration, hope, and maybe even research, and all that shit is bullshit, first of all. It is like different people have different motivations. Superordinary.
The
yeah,
greatest
big word
common
means smart.
motivator in a human being is spite. Changed my mind.
Oh yes, I agree on that. As someone,
Spite is the
in
greatest
past
human
month-
motivator. So here's the
Yes.
thing. I figured it out. I figured out what they're going off of here. This is basically the if you put out too early, he won't be interested in you anymore. That's what this is. If you have sex too early with a dude, the dude's not going to be into pursuing any more relation with you because why buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? Right? Why am I going to marry the girl when I'm already getting sex? As if sex is the pinnacle and certain types of sex. Like, I'm not interested in somebody because, or being faithful to a relationship with someone because we already had anal sex. Like, what the fuck kind of people are you encouraging here? What is the necessary consequence of the ideology that you're putting forth, Jordan Peterson?
Yeah. Again, like it kind of feels like that it's all about men. Again, no offense to everyone, but for these two morons, it's all about
It's
men.
these two specifically. Yeah.
what men want and what they think men deserve, and they are not happy that women no longer feel guilty about having sex before marriage or having sex with a different partner before marriage, actually,
Or that they
Like,
don't need
they were-
men to live like a regular life.
yeah, and
They
I
would
get
rather
it.
have women need them from a necessity than want to be with them because they enjoy their company,
Yeah.
because they don't have the confidence that they're people that women would choose.
yeah,
Because they're
if
not people women
So that
would
tells a lot
choose.
about you, isn't it? That tells a lot about them, isn't it? That you don't want to change, you don't want to improve, you don't care. Because why? Because you think that women are made for you, or that women owe you something for some reason. And now that women are like, fuck you, I'm out of here, you're like, oh, no, 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 no. Okay.
We
It's
experience that only in relationship to an aim. And so if you destroy the ultimate aim, you destroy the structure upon which reward itself is dependent, apart from
reward. What's the
The
reward?
ultimate aim, the reward is you get to have sex after marriage, and once you're married, you're locked in.
Oh, so is he trying to say that if you marry someone, your spouse then owes you sex? Is that
It's a
what
contract, right, Manu?
Mm-hmm. I would like to see the
satiation
conditions of the
induced
contract,
rewards,
please. Thank you very
right?
much.
And they produce quiescence, not movement forward. Okay, so you lose positive emotion, then you multiply negative
not true.
emotion, and the reason you do that is
Nope.
because one of the things that constrains your anxiety response is actually a calculation of the entropic distance to a given destination. Technically, is if you produce
I'm
a
gonna kill this
multiplicity
guy.
of aims.
I like when
I'm
he
gonna
says
smack this
technically.
guy. No, that whole sentence just he said. This is the same shit. Who used to do that? Oh god, there was this guy. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but there was another guy who used to do this. Who used to use this language, specific language. Anyone in the live chat, please, if you can remind me. Oh god, I can't remember. Well, who used to talk about moon and shit all the time, and he was Indian, if I'm not wrong. Please remind me.
The moon?
Yeah, Chopra. What was the name?
Deepak Chopra?
What was it? Deepak Chopra. Exactly. This is the same language that dude uses. And when physicists are kind of like, what? Then they run the opposite direction. And
Then you
that's why I
increase
said, I'm gonna
anxiety
smack Jordan Peterson in his face.
proportionately. Now, there's probably some optimization function so that like a choice between 3 aims is great and a choice between 100 is devastating. Okay, so that's 2 things that happens when the unifying overarching
You
theme
mean-
disappears. But there's a third thing too, which is something you pointed to. So there's a relationship between scarcity and deprivation and value, right? And so if you are surfeited by a stimulus, let's say, or a resource, so you're overfed, as soon as you're not hungry, food is of no interest. If you're stuffed,
Oh
That
yes,
is
of course.
not
Women,
true.
like women are like, they're stuffed turkey, aren't they? Once you're full, that you have no interest, right? That's what it is. Women are objects to be used, isn't it, Jordan? You fucking baka.
It is not true that food is of no interest of you if you're not starving. Food can be very much so is of interest of you for more than just the necessity of eating. Otherwise, taste would be meaningless to us. Taste is not meaningless to us, and seeking out and trying different foods is something that is a huge industry, a
Chocolate ice cream?
massive
Seriously?
industry. Do you really need me to show you the number of flavors of Oreo cookies that there are? It's insane. You don't you right now watching, you don't understand how many flavors there are of Oreo cookies. I'm gonna need you after this stream is over to go Google search and go and tell me in the comments below how many types of Oreo cookies there are, because you don't get it. You don't understand. It's too goddamn high.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson, deal with that gluttony.
Go and figure it out. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. You can eat too much and be uncomfortable, and you can eat too much and be unhealthy, and yada 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 yada, or whatever.
Yeah, even water is like that.
But it doesn't. People eat for comfort. People eat for socializing. People eat for lots of
Sustenance.
different reasons. And so to try and distill it down to what he's trying to. This is the problem. He's distilled it down to the point that it's dishonest.
Satisfaction.
You can have sex for more than just reproduction. You can have sex for enjoyment.
Yeah.
You can have
That's
sex
exactly.
for out of obligation. You can have sex for like I don't know, you exercise. You're just trying to get your heart rate up once a day for like
Right?
5
Get some
minutes.
calories burnt, yeah.
You instead of having sex with a partner, you can masturbate, and that can do different things to your body for endorphins or what the fuck ever. So like, and like, he's trying to make this. We're back to like the porn argument. Porn is too accessible, so people are gonna stop having sex, or people are bored of regular sex because they see too much porn. And the thing is like, does that affect some people? Yes, but it's not going to destroy society. The reason like millennials and Gen Xers aren't having as much sex is because they're fucking tired and they're fucking stressed out and they can't afford it. Not because they don't like sex. Idiot.
Yes, Manya. Yes, please. Yes, I cut rocks. Yes. You better make on that promise that you have just, yeah, we are that's a contract now. Yeah. Yeah. um yeah, it's all about like using sex, like, again, people thinking that
So what?
others owe something to them.
Yeah,
Yes, others
so
can owe
what,
something to
right?
you.
He's like, oh, the
Yeah, but doesn't-
consequences of people having easy access to sex all the time and like super kinky sex all the time is like, that means they're not gonna want to have sex anymore? What is this boredom? Oh, I'm bored of being a furry now, I guess. Like, there's so much sex to explore that is now actually accessible and not closeted that, like, oh, but now people are gonna get bored. Bullshit! There's so much shit to
Bullshit.
try. There's so much stuff to do. There's so much room
Okay.
for activities!
I'll tell you why people will not get bored of sex. It's a very simple example. The prostitution industry, it has been here from since ancient times till today. It's not never gone away. However hard any religion or religious sect has tried, it has not gone away. It's still there, and it's better that it's out in the open now, because then we can catch exploitation now easily. That's why we need it now out of the shadows. And to say that people will get bored of sex, nuh-uh. That's not as simple as that. Sex industry
You
is
will
still
have
there. Prostitution is still there.
Individuals might get bored of sex. Individuals might
Yes.
not. Like, people do.
Depends.
That was one
At
of the things I didn't
particular
mention.
time.
People have sex for a job. There's lots of things you
Or
can
that crocodile, like conversation I had with crocodile. If you do a job
That's
that you
so
do
bad.
not like or do not enjoy, then you're demeaning yourself. I'm just like,
So, like, everybody on the fucking planet, I guess. So when everyone's demeaned, nobody is.
Food is nauseating. Now, you remember in the Exodus seminar we covered, I don't remember if you were there for this, but I
Exodus.
think you might have been. There's a situation when the Israelites are out in the desert wandering around like demented slaves and bitching about the fact that they have no tyrant. They start complaining about the fact that they don't have enough to eat. And God sends them like quails until they're literally coming out of their nostrils.
Right. Yeah.
That's how
First they complain about the manna, and then, well, they complain they're
Yeah.
hungry, and God said,
Literally?
Manna? Dude, you watch anime? Manna? That's very specific, Chesh. Come on, that's very, very specific.
sends the manna, and then they say, we're tired of the manna,
Yeah.
we want meat. And God says,
Yeah.
you're going to have as much meat as you could possibly imagine. And
Right.
here come
right,
the
right.
quails. God actually gets angry, and actually Moses,
The thing
for the
is
first
that
time, gets
God is
angry
a
at the people
dick
over their
because-
request.
God knows that too much of anything is bad. Even too much of water is bad.
If
And
that's the
instead of,
case,
like-
then hell's not that great of a threat, and heaven doesn't sound too great. If you're,
Yeah.
this is a comedian sketch. Oh, if heaven's so great and it's gonna be wonderful and good all the time, and you're gonna get there, you're gonna be there, and then you're gonna get fucking bored.
Yeah. What are you gonna do then? Yeah, that was the thing, is your God is a dick. Instead of showing the way to, like, maybe agriculturally make food available, hunting or something, or making food available for some time till they figure out what to do, like they can produce it themselves, he just burdens them with and almost kills them with food, like as if like he's blaming them for being hungry. in the middle of a desert.
He blames them for getting hungry, then that he gives them one type of food, and then they start complaining about eating that one type of food forever, and then he gets mad at them for that too. And so he's just like, fine, then suffer with all the meat you only get to eat this one type of thing. And of course they have limited resources in preparing the food, so there's no differentiation.
When he knows he created them that they cannot survive on anything of too much.
Well,
and he's doing it on purpose.
And that you can't survive on bread alone, and you can't survive on meat alone. You'd think Jordan Peterson would know that after going into a medically-induced coma after his weird-ass diet.
At this point.
Right. Well, and what happens is because they have an absolute surplus of what they hypothetically find desirable, it becomes disgusting. And this is certainly the danger on the sexual front.
We're experiencing a lot of global instability as we plunge into primary season, like no shipping in the Red Sea. To get started.
We don't know, we actually don't know how much deprivation is necessary for proper sexual function to make itself manifest, right?
What?
Proper sexual function?
Are you saying that how can we prevent people from having sex so much so that they start going crazy on the streets and what?
Jordan Peterson is bringing up proper sexual function, and he's talking to Ben Shapiro, who doesn't know that vaginas get wet when stimulated.
I don't know
you
if
have
Peterson knows that either.
And it doesn't take much thought to figure this out. It's a rare person who hasn't primed their appetite with hunger before a Thanksgiving feast, right? You don't want to have a plate of pancakes at 5 o'clock if you're going to have a Thanksgiving feast at.
You can have a surplus of food and be incredibly comfortable your entire life and never have to stress about having food ever, and still enjoy a good meal without starving yourself before the meal.
God.
There's something satisfying. You know what is interesting is there is something satisfying about a hearty meal at the end of a hard day of work when you're really, really hungry and you're satisfied with your work, you're satisfied with your day, you're satisfied with what you're done. It's almost like stress and like either economical stress or the burden of having a toxic workplace ruins and poisons the other shit in your life, and is just I am being monotonous about what I'm eating because I'm just getting sustenance just to get to the next fucking day. And that's bad for people, which is a current problem, a social problem that America, and not just America, is suffering right now. But the reason that's happening is because of the fucking economic situation.
Yeah, exactly.
They have too much sex.
They don't talk about the billionaires that are out there, right? They don't talk about the billionaires out there who are hoarding resources.
Actually, that's a really good point. I've got why are you not using money as an example? You have too much money, you don't know what to do with it, and the money stagnates.
That's the currency nowadays,
and it affects your mental well-being.
Yes, a financial well-being is one of the things that will affect your mental well-being. As someone
and you might
who
say,
works
well,
in
why
that area?
Why not? Because more is better, and the answer is no. The right amount is better, and the right amount involves a certain amount of deprivation.
That's fair.
And I think that's. I read this interesting.
But I don't know if he wants to say that he wants he wants to dictate what is right amount for everyone, or he is of the opinion that everyone can decide for themselves what the right amount is. Obviously, with expert opinion or advisement. I don't know what his that in that area what his thoughts are. How do we
amount
do
of
that?
deprivation? And I think that's. I read this interesting article yesterday.
When you wash your body, do you use a moldy loofah, a dirty wash, a guy that just uses their hands while only scrubbing your pits and privates?
Do you?
I'm talking to you. Get the Body Buffer by Manscaped.
Sorry, I wanted to leave it going.
Don't do this to me.
Women are more likely to lose romantic interest as a relationship progresses than men. I don't think that's surprising. they're higher in trait neuroticism, so they're
This is
more
so
likely to
such a
experience
big
negative
projection.
emotion. And then
This is such a big projection. Oh my fucking lord.
He just said women are more likely to be neurotic.
What the fuck do you mean by neurotic?
I'm gonna need a citation on that, and like that correlation
Yeah.
versus causation on that one. I'm gonna need a citation, cause like I can understand where that might be true, but I need more context. I need more context on that stat.
Hmm.
then women have more, their response to sexuality is more multidimensional than men because the risks are higher. In any case, one of the ways around that is for
Risks are higher?
Well, yeah, because the woman's got to do all the physical and mental load of
And
child
emotional,
bearing.
yeah.
So that's true, but that's because of the way society is set up. That's not like a that's
That's not like a
societal
trait of
evolution.
women.
Right,
That's
that's
not, yeah,
societal.
that's not like trait of the female species. That's not what it is.
It's and it's like it's societally that way because there is a biological difference, right? And society has catered that direction because it's easier and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, doesn't matter. It's easier to go that way, and it's because that's society evolves the same way anything else does. It takes time and trial and error, and sometimes things work and sometimes things don't.
And it's
things
funny,
work,
like
work
these
out
two
wrong.
men are sitting here who have no qualifications around like women or research in women like psychology or anything like that. Just sitting there and just like spewing shit out of their
I
ass.
think that it does a disservice to men because I think that there are a lot of men who also need and want that emotional stimulus for sex
Yes.
as well. When you treat men like they're just fucking sex machines, it's not good. The same way as if you just treat women like sex machines or baby machines, it's not good, right? This is not a way to view a human. Humans are complicated and emotional, and when you teach men from a young age over generations that's unga bunga sex and then put that burden onto women to have to be more cautious, then society is enforcing those pressures regardless of what would quote unquote happen naturally. Because keep in mind that society is a thing that happens naturally. We can just tweak it and change it as we see fit.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, no, don't change anything. Everything's perfect. Well, like, pretty much everybody but them are like, this sucks.
This sucks. Get me out of here.
men and women in a marriage to
okay.
stay apart from each other for periods of, these researchers looked at 8 hours. If you give some distance, the desire reemerges. And then you were talking about novelty. And so
Dive
this
into
is
the
pretty
fucking
interesting
camera,
too.
I mean, I would agree with that. If you are around somebody 24/7, it can be tiring and exhausting, and you don't have the
It can
same
be
kind
toxic.
of like, oh, I miss them, right? So being away from each other and having things to talk about that you didn't both just literally experience is stimulating to your relationship. Yeah, no shit. But that doesn't mean purposefully depriving yourself. This has nothing to do with
Exactly.
the availability of sex toys.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're going for like purposeful like deniability by someone else and not letting the individuals decide for themselves what amount is good for themselves. So that's what my problem is here. Who the fuck is gonna set the standard? Who?
I think Stargazer Mom has it down. I've been listening while working around the house. You know, like a good woman. I'm teasing, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what kind of working you're working you're doing. You could be putting up shelving and installing piping for all I know. I'm sorry.
He said it.
But Stargazer Mom said, but this guy is a Nimrod that has no idea what the hell he's talking about when it comes to women. Yeah. Accurate.
So you said men will chase novelty in a sexual relationship. Well, I think part of what is incumbent on married individuals is to figure out how to keep that novelty alive, right? So that means that each of them have to be transforming. And I think the best way to do that is in relationship to a spiritual pursuit. And then I think women also want novelty, but the novelty they're looking for in men is probably more multidimensional and performative. right? Because women are hypergamous and they
So
like
you-
men who are above them in the.
Oh no, not
Who
hypergamy.
the fuck? Okay.
Jordan
on a minute, this
Peterson's just
fucking-
like men like women who are on top. Dom women don't exist.
Also, is he saying that he wants like that women want men to like pretend that they are like they have emotions?
No,
Like,
he's saying
put on
that
a
they
per-
want men to pretend to perform in a specific way to
yeah.
stimulate them. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be emotions. It can be a spectrum
Yeah.
of things.
And the thing is that it's not like that women like men who are above them. Usually nowadays in middle class families especially, people marry around the same income or economic group that they are in themselves. So I don't know where this something is coming off of, or like men being above them or not. Yep, it can be that the man is earning more than the woman or the vice versa, but they will be economically or in the societal level, they will be most probably they will be at the same standard or the same,
Women
level.
liked it so much they protested and had riots over it in the 50s. That's what.
Yeah.
I only like
So, like-
men who sleep on the top bunk. Fuck off, Jordan Peterson.
Hierarchy of status, let's say, or ability, likely
Oh,
ability.
here we go.
And I
again,
think
that-
what
that
women
bullshit.
want are novel displays of hypergamous capacity, and that is the novelty orientation for women in relationship to sexuality.
You don't have to be a high status man, but I want you to take me out for dinner to a fancy place like we're rich once in a while.
Yeah. Also, like, is Jordan Peterson is saying that women want men to be women worry about men being more or care about men being emotional rather than how good they are in bed. Is that what he is trying to say? Is that what he's trying to say? I agree on that because it's the whole package, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that people are concerned about economic status because of the economy.
Yes, that's the thing.
But-
Not because of like it's not an inherent property or characteristic of a species. It's not. Stop
The-
trying to make it that way.
No, we're back to his lobster thing, the lobster hierarchies. Sar in the chat
Oh,
said, when Jordan
God.
says women want me to be performative, I'm just picturing a man in a jester's hat on both of his heads and doing a dance in the bedroom.
It reminds me of the Joker in the It movie. With the
You mean the
balloon.
clown? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hold on, I saw somebody else's thing. Oh, Stargazer Mom had said the problem is that even in this day and age, women are made to feel like a whore if we are aggressive in any way starting a relationship to being in the bedroom, and that's bullshit. And yeah, it's still like women being the instigator of a relationship or a sexual relationship is still societally kind of like, it's more acceptable now, which these people are like Jordan Peterson and Ben are arguing against it. They're like, there should be no changes.
Yeah.
And having that like availability to sex is a bad thing. But yes, it's getting better, but it's still we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Quality.
long-
Well, one of the things that's actually fascinating about this is that, biblically speaking, right? I mean, not to get into abstruse Jewish law, but I mean, this is actually right in the Bible. Forget about the abstruse Jewish law.
You
What
don't
about-
want about
what about
who
the
was having
Quran?
sex with what in the Bible, all right? It's not what you think it
Yeah,
is.
no, honey, come on.
There's a lot of incest.
Yeah, a lot.
And right in the Bible, one of the
Speaking of
mandates
taboos.
is that for a period of at least 1 week out of every month, married couples are not supposed to have sex. Right? This is like right in the Bible.
Oh, when the woman is menstruating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
was
tell
so
me what to
obvious.
do. Forbidden pasta sauce.
Seriously, guys, do you know? Ben, Jordan, do you know how women's what do you say reproductive system works? How does it work? And maybe it was based on that It was said because during those times it was difficult to maintain hygiene for women during that period. It was difficult for them and a little embarrassing too.
Well, and
So-
that people didn't know what the fuck was going on in some regards. It was just a
Yeah.
thing that happened and didn't have a very good
In those
understanding.
times,
These guys probably have about
those-
equivalent understanding of female menstruation as people in the Bible. In fact, I would suspect that there's people from biblical times that knew more about the way menstruation for women
Oh,
works
well-
than these two do.
people during the Tudor era, if I might dare say, used to think that wombs are inverted penises. So,
Right, right,
and so
right,
that
right.
one of the purposes of that presumably would be to create the scarcity and the novelty that you're talking about. Because if you're married,
No, it was because of periods, Ben, you fuck.
Okay,
then
I'm gonna
obviously
tweet
there's
this, like,
tremendous
Ben Shapiro
availability
doesn't know what
of sex.
periods
I mean,
are.
contra every
I'm gonna
What
tag
do
that
you
motherfucker.
mean? Just because you're married, there's a tremendous availability of sex? Oh, so you can't. Marriage is consent.
that-
is that
that's-
where we're going? No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
marriage is consent. No.
single weird public opinion out there, married people tend to have sex significantly more than single people, and it is not particularly close. But theoretically, the scarcity goes away, the novelty goes away, and then so does the
Yeah,
romance.
yeah.
And so
well,
the Bible
that's a
literally
danger,
says,
anyways. That's a danger.
right? And so the Bible literally says, like 1 week out of the month, minimum, you're toast. You can't do anything during
Yeah,
this
because
particular
some
week.
women
And I think
would
that
get
again,
periods for
Unbelievable.
longer than a week. Some women would get that, so that's why it was a minimum, and then it went to like whatever time she's menstruating for. Like,
there's a good rationalistic and there's a good way. I shouldn't say rationalistic because there's a reason for it, but it's something
Should I put in
inherited.
Bible sex?
Inherited
Maybe I
wisdom
should
over
put in
time
Bible
is sort of the message of the Bible. And I think that's, not knowing why you do the thing, but you do the thing and then it works is in some ways much of what we're talking about, because that's the story of what works is
So
the
you
story,
blindly
right?
want to
That's what
believe something because it benefits you, but you don't know if it's
What?
really benefiting you or not.
What?
Like, there's this saying, just let us believe in shit and do shit blindly without doing our own research just because it benefits us.
But it doesn't work. But it doesn't work. But it doesn't work though. You think it works because you're experiencing a particular version of it of which you are benefiting from. But if a bunch of people are saying this doesn't work, aka riots and protests, so whether it be the recent writer strike, whether it be women's suffrage, whether it be the slave trades, whether it be the Civil War for America, whether it be World War II, there were people that benefited from World War II. But when the majority of a society says this is not working for us, or even a minority in a society says, this is not working for us, it's on the rest of us to do the extra steps and say, okay, what can we do to make this work? And is what you want going to harm other people? And the only people that are being harmed in this case are the people that they are trying to repress. Their sex lives don't change if I'm allowed to have sex with like somebody that, like a friend of mine down the road, regardless of who they are. Right? Like, if I'm allowed to have sex with women, or I'm allowed to have sex with a trans woman and have a grand old fucking time, that it does nothing about Ben Shapiro's sex life at all. How available sex is to me, the individual, is irrelevant. If he wants scarcity in his life, that's fine. If he's trying to cope that his wife doesn't want to have sex with him, and that's because it's good for their sexual relationship, I mean, that's his cope to huff. But that doesn't mean he gets to impose it on the fucking rest of us. What a fucking clown.
really talking about at the end of the day. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media?
Hey, we're done. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media? Watch my program where we don't have any of that, and you definitely didn't just watch me 20 seconds ago twist this
I'm
1
tired
week
of it,
out of the
Ben.
month thing away about
We need to end this
scarcity and
relationship.
definitely not about menstruation.
Yeah, Ben, we need to end this toxic relationship, man. Yeah, I'm done with you.
This guy
Oh, Smitty,
is
yeah.
unfucking believable.
Oh, God. Ay, vey. That was good. Yeah.
I hope you guys all had fun today.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was good stuff.
I'll
Yeah.
do the
I had
quickie
no
pop-
idea that you had Jordan Peterson like lined up.
I didn't
was
tell
like,
Manya.
come on.
He's like,
she
what are
never
we
tells
looking
me
at
anything. She
today?
was like, I got something. Now Manya's going to write a breakup song about you and Shapiro. I might. Why not?
A Ben Shapiro breakup song by Manya in the style of Taylor Swift. Hell yeah.
Oh God, that's a lot of pressure, man.
So I'll just give the quickie Puck update for anybody who wasn't here earlier. Puck went to the vet today. That's one of the reasons why we're a little bit later today. He got his bandage redone. They cleaned up the wound a little bit, rewrapped it. They talked to me about his blood work. He's got a little bit of in his kidneys and a little bit of in his pancreas, but they said a dietary change should help and change that. So they said that there's nothing super duper urgent, and basically the issues that they saw, they didn't see in him and his personality and how he was behaving. So the numbers were saying one thing, but his behavior and personality were saying something else. And so they decided to do the surgery anyway and do the changes in the bandage. And they said this isn't urgent. Change his food and his diet a little bit, and we'll do his blood work again in 6 months. So 6 months is a pretty long period of time, so that tells me that they're not super duper concerned about anything, but it's just something to be aware of and to change up. And it's probably one of the best dietary changes he's ever had in his life. He's going to be so happy about it. Basically, the amount of like regular dog food that he gets is getting lowered a little bit, and it's being replaced by noodles and rice. Because I guess like the part of the part in his pancreas that's not quite operating at full capacity right now is that he's not processing fat and protein as easily. So we're just removing a little bit of the protein and fat, and he's getting some extra carbs. So,
Yay.
Lucky him.
Noodles are always nice.
I always have noodles and rice at home, so this is the easiest thing for me in the world.
Same, I've got like lots of, ready to.
Maybe I'll put some different types of noodles on his wish list.
Oh, yeah, why not? That would be great.
You got anything coming up on you?
Not really, no. But yeah, the coming couple of weeks are going to be really, really, exciting, if I might dare say.
I gotta get ready to go to Kansas. Yippee!
Oh yes, yeah. Let's see what happens. And I really hope that this thing all gets resolved, man. It's taking so much out of everyone. I don't know about everyone else, but I know Tesh and I, we're just over it. We're just like, come on, get it done already. But
thank you everybody for joining us. This has been a good stream. We'll be back soon with more stuff. I'll be doing some artwork coming up. I'm sure Manya will join me for some other shenanigans in the future. We have a tavern coming up, but the next tavern is supposed to take place while I'm in Kansas. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do that.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Ah.
So I might be calling in on my phone from hotel Wi-Fi.
So is it like it's gonna be my responsibility to set it all up?
Do you want to try?
Okay. Yeah, why not? But I'm using OBS. I'm not using anything else. I'm not using Remix.
Dapper also knows what he's doing, so there's that.
Yeah, Dapper can also do it. I think so. Last time Dapper did it when you were sick and we did the tavern. Yeah, it was Dapper. So yeah, okay, Dapper, you're up.
Rude.
I ain't doing shit.
We should make Landon do it because Landon's never done the production side of things.
Oh. Come on. Don't do that to him. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. We'll be back later, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Welcome back to Don't Feck Friday. Don't Feck Friday. Don't Feck Friday. Don't Feck Friday.
It's going to be fun.